watching this presentation of the National Football League.
Everybody loves Raymond. Mondays on CBS. It's all here.
At Local 6, we go out.
And Lamont Jordan, who is brought down by Reggie Howard after a 30-yard return out to the 31-yard line, as we welcome those of you watching the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The quarterback is Chad Pennington. He is the second-rated quarterback coming into this week.
And you got to keep an eye, Kevin, on Kevin Mawai at center. You're going to see him with a big club on his right hand. He's going to be snapping left-handed. That's a real change of pace for this offense.
From the 31-yard line, first down and 10. And Curtis Martin on his first carry today, brought down by Sammy Knight, 33-yard line, gain of about 3 on the play. So Pennington comes in, throwing 75%, and the second-rated quarterback in the NFL entering this week 4. Mawai with the broken hand does start, but snapping with a different hand, his left hand today. Running back Curtis Martin off to the best start of his career, the 5th leading rusher in the NFL. Coming into this afternoon, second down and 7 from the 34. That's the tight end, Anthony Beck, on the move as Pennington looks for his second option, Martin. And Curtis Martin knocked out of bounds by Sam Madison. He's got the first down, 45-yard line pickup of 11 yards. Now the Miami defense, which comes in number 5 in the NFL. Jason Taylor is only second to Michael Strahan in sacks in the NFL over the last 4 seasons. The middle linebacker is Zach Thomas, who continues to lead the Dolphins in tackles. In the secondary, Sammy Knight in a hard-hitting, respected defensive backfield core from the 45, first and 10. Crabette is the third receiver. And Curtis Martin with a Jason Taylor tackle shy of midfield, a gain of 4 up at the 49-yard line. Martin became the all-time New York Jet rushing leader last week as he went past Freeman McNeil. And he is averaging about 5.2 yards per carry. Welcome the Oakland-Houston audience, and the Texans winning their second consecutive game. First time ever they beat Kansas City last week, second down 6. The Jets on the opening drive of the game from the 49. And Martin with a Mawai block and a tackle with a flag down by Moreland Greenwood at the 36-yard line, gain of 13 yards.
That's going to be against Miami. And what a nice job by Kevin Mawai coming around that corner, lead blocking and just putting a little pummeling on Zach Thomas.
Number 98 of the defense, not letting the pulling guard get out. 5 yards from the end of the play, first down.
And so they'll spot that at the 37.
Here's your pulling guard. Here's the matchup right there. That's Kendall and Robinson working on the back. I'm sorry, that was Moore on the backside being held by Robinson. He was trying to get off that block, working in a tandem block with McKenzie on the backside, and Robinson held onto the guard. He wasn't pulling. He was just trying to do a little slip block there. But really the key to that block, key to that play was right there, was Kevin Mawai with that club. He can only hold about half as well as he could before, but he's still one of the best offensive linemen in the whole league.
So they move it to the 32. It is a first down. Some play action by Pennington. And to the side, looking for the tight end, Chris Baker, dropped incomplete at the 18-yard line. Moreland Greenwood was covering from the linebacking core in our first trip to New York, and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Kevin, New England just applied the clincher to Buffalo. Watch Teddy Bruschi come up the middle, slap the ball away from Drew Bledsoe. When his teammate Richard Seymour recovers, Bruschi throws a block. Seymour, 68 yards with the fumble recovery. New England on its way to its 18th straight win. 31-17, 2 minutes to play, guys.
Greg, 18 consecutive wins is big news here in Miami. We'll talk about that in a second. Second down 10 from the 32-yard line as Martin is slammed inside. They got Jason Taylor on him after a gain of 2. Mark him at the 30.
Yeah, Kevin, this is the marquee matchup in this game. It is the offense for the Jets and the role they've been on after the first 2 weeks of the season, and then having a break and being able to work against this Miami defense. And Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas and the rest of these Miami defenders who have worn down over the first 3 games because they've had to carry the load for this entire football team, and heck, they've carried it for the whole organization.
They brought in Freeman and Howard in the secondary. 3rd down, 8, 7th play of the drive. The extra receiver is Crabette from the 30-yard line for the New York Jets. Here comes Bowens. He's got a hold of Pennington, and Pennington gets up, and then they blow it dead right there. He was trying to get out of the grasp and also out of field goal range with that great Miami defensive pressure. It looked like Pennington may escape, but they do mark him down, and now the Jets have got to punt the ball.
Well, they do a nice job, the Jets do, of initially forming the pocket, but then watch the pocket collapse around Pennington as he keeps looking downfield. Nice discipline by the defensive line of the Miami Dolphins, just collapsing things on Pennington.
Toby Goen to punt, the ex-Dallas Cowboy punter. And deep back is Wes Welker. And this is inside the 5 over the pylon. And it is a touchback. Very close. 39-yard punt. Touchback to the 20-yard line.
Watch where the ball's knocked back from. Is it knocked back from the end zone area? See, he never gets it, and he can't knock it back and get it past. That's an excellent call by the official right there on the play.
Jay Fiedler was named the starting quarterback this week. He was benched halfway into week 1. He is back now against the Jets today. 5 new starting offensive linemen. They say the best of that group is John St. Clair, but it is a struggling group. And running back Leonard Henry is a 4th different starter.
And Kevin, don't be surprised if you see Miami do something a little different, maybe a little no huddle to start this game.
From the 20-yard line, Fiedler, who has won his last 3 starts against the Jets, 1st and 10. And an Ellis rush and an incomplete pass to Marty Booker. It's incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Now the Jets defense.
They're on the line.
We'll have to contend with that no huddle with the 2nd and 10. Surprise you to see this early?
You know, not really. After talking to Dave Wanstead, he's looking so much for a spark, something to get this offense going, something to get some confidence going. You know, early on, they had a wide open Sean Ellis, had a free shot on the quarterback Fiedler, though.
Darius Thompson is the 3rd receiver, 2nd down and 10 from the 20. This is Leonard Henry, who is brought down by Vilma and hit by Robertson. He's out to the 24-yard line, picking up about 3.5 yards on the play, setting up 3rd down. There you take a look at Dave Wanstead in his 5th year.
And they're just going to stay with it. They're going to do the no huddle. They've called all their first 3 plays at the line, on the sideline. And if they had a 3rd and long, they called that with it. They do. You call 3 or 4 plays.
3rd down and 6. They have brought in Derek Strait as an extra defensive back as the Jets defense. And Jay Fiedler off to the side, and it is bobbled, almost picked off by Barrett on a pass intended for Gilmore, the ex-Arizona Cardinal, who makes his first NFL career start today. And so it is 3 and out for the Miami Dolphins.
It looks like it was intended for Barrett, the cornerback. It's thrown a little bit short. I mean, obviously he's trying to get it over the top to his receiver, but that's one thing both these quarterbacks, Feely and Fiedler, do this so far this year, is not throw that touch pass over the top very well. It's way too flat.
Matt Turk to punt, and Ed Perry with the high snap, and Santana Moss is back for the New York Jets, waving it off. And Sammy Knight and the ball go out of bounds at about the 43-yard line of the Jets. It is a punt of 33 yards.
Yeah, we talked about that no huddle that Herm Edwards' defense just saw. No real surprise. I mean, this offense has been so bad for Miami. They wanted to do something that give them a jolt, keep Herm Edwards from making some of the normal substitutions that he would make normally, so Fiedler can kind of keep him out of a rhythm and a pattern.
So the 2nd possession coming up for Herm Edwards and his offense. You're going to see running across the bottom of our screen our CBS game tracks. It features counts and scores of other games in the NFL. 1st and 10, and a bobble by Pennington, and diving on it was Kareem McKenzie, the right tackle. And it's a loss on the play back to about the 41-yard line of 3 yards.
Yeah, one of the problems you might have when you've got a center snapping with the wrong hand is if you don't stay with him, it's not the normal exchange. The ball doesn't come out normal. It's not secured as quickly as it normally is. And you saw that ball was loose as Chad Pennington was coming back away from his center, Kevin Mawai.
Dolphins have brought in Freeman and Howard in the secondary. 2nd and 13 back at the 41. And Pennington to Curtis Martin. And Dario Romero, along with Jay Williams on the line, bring him down at the 46. It is a gain of 5.
Now, okay, I'm sorry, Kevin. Before the game, Kevin Mawai obviously practicing without the big old club on his right hand, not to sort of give that away. But the problem is it's going to be on 3rd and short. It's going to be in obvious situations where the quarterback wants to get away from the quarterback. Heck, it could be on 3rd and long because I don't know how he's going to snap shotgun with that hand like that, but we're going to find out here pretty quick.
So 6 in the secondary remaining. Prevent the extra receiver. 3rd and 8. They got to get to the Dolphin 46. They're at their own 46. Pennington, good block by Martin, buying time for Pennington, who is hit, and down he goes. There was all kinds of pressure. Jay Williams, and they also had Patrick Surtain coming in, and for a 2nd consecutive possession, the New York Jets have got to punt the ball.
Well, Surtain does the job coming off the top side. Look at him working against Martin. Drives Curtis Martin back and gets right into Chad Pennington's throwing motion. That's the Miami defense. Sometimes it's a spectacular play, and other times it's just good, hard persistence.
Goins' first punt was 39 yards, and this one goes to Welker again and into the end zone with the touchback. Another time. So 2 punts and 2 touchbacks. Dolphins will begin for a 2nd consecutive time at their own 20-yard line with the 2nd look now at Jay Fiedler. The Jets defense will blend 3- and 4-man fronts, and John Abraham will often be the swing player, sometimes on the line, sometimes a backer, where he'll join rookie middle linebacker Jonathan Vilma, making his first NFL start today for the injured Sam Coward. Another rookie, free safety Eric Coleman, has made an impact with 2 interceptions in 2 games. He was the September Defensive Rookie of the Month in the NFL. From the 20-yard line for the Dolphins, 1st and 10. And Fiedler to Leonard Henry with his first NFL start. Jason Ferguson devours him at about the 19-yard line, 19.5. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down. Get complete recaps from all of today's NFL games, plus insight from CBS Sports Line's NFL experts, only at CBSSportsLine.com. 2nd down.
So everyone's always hammering about what's the best thing for an offense. How do you get set up in the right positions? And 3rd downs, the best 3rd down conversion rate, it comes for teams that don't even get the 3rd down. They do well on 1st and 2nd. Miami is not one of those offenses.
Here comes the rush, and they get the ball out of there, does the quarterback Fiedler, but he was pressured by Robertson and by Abraham, and now Fiedler has started 0 of 3 and facing 3rd and 10.
Well, when you're trying to throw a screen and you're an offense, the idea, fellas, is to slow down the defensive line before that you go out for your screen. And you saw the pressure that John Abraham was able to get by blowing right by the left tackle, Damian McIntosh.
McGraw has been put in, and Derek Strait in the Jets secondary. 3rd and 10. The 3rd receiver for the Dolphins is Darius Thompson. From the 20. And Fiedler to the side, and incomplete. Barrett was covering Darius Thompson, and another punt coming up for the Miami Dolphins. This will be their 2nd consecutive punt.
This turns into a field position game when you have the Miami defense that plays so well and the Miami offense that plays so poorly. On the last exchange, the Jets picked up 13 yards on the exchange, 13 of those hidden yards. Let's see how many of the hidden yards they get this time.
Matt Turk with his 2nd punt, and Santana Moss is back at about the 30-yard line of the Jets, moving up to the 33. And he got by Jimmy Wyrick. And then Ian Bedeja drives him out of bounds along with the punter Turk. Santana Moss with a good-looking return of 24 yards on the punt of 47 yards, marking him out of bounds at the Miami 43.
But when you play the New York Jets and you know Santana Moss is there, your coverage team have to have their best day doing one thing if possible, and that's tackling. And you see a lot of arm grabbing and only one real shot at a tackle. That's not what you want from the Miami special team side. You've got to have good coverage. Because now you're looking at a situation, heck, you're in the positive side of the field if you're the New York offense. No matter how good your defense is, you can't keep putting your defense in this situation and expect them not to give up points.
Corbett is in the slot, and they've got McCarron's atop your screen. And from the 43, it is first down and 10.
Another plus 13 on that exchange rate, Kevin.
And Chad Pennington. Great play fake, and he goes out to Gerald Soule, who is grabbed by Seau, and with a flag that looked like maybe a face mask. Gain of about 6 yards near the 36-yard line. As Jason Taylor is woozy, trying to get up off the field. Running back of Michael Strahan. Those have been the two dominant defensive ends.
Grabbing and catching by the face mask. Number 55 of the defense. 15 yards from the end of the play. First down.
That's the major variety of face mask.
Yeah, it's not when you just happen to get there. It's when you grab it and pull. There's the grab. A little bit of the pull to get the initial action coming down, but it doesn't take much of that pull to get the 15.
So Taylor, as you can see him trying to get his bearings, has been taken out. They put in Jay Williams at that one defensive end and Bowens at the other. McCarron's and Moss, the receivers. It is first and 10 on the Miami 21. Play action again by Pennington. On the run and hit by Bowens as he goes head first into the 14-yard line with a gain of 7 for Chad Pennington, who a year ago at this time was still trying to rehab from the broken wrist, and Vinny Testaverde was the Jet quarterback.
This is really probably the best thing that happened to Chad was Vinny going to Dallas, being reunited with Bill Parcells. Not a real big, shock, Herm Edwards said, to anybody in their organization. But the number one thing it did for Chad Pennington is it made this Chad Pennington's team. There was no doubt, no question. Backup quarterbacks now Quincy Carter, who is not too versed in this offense.
Second down, 3 from the 14-yard line. Couple tight ends in for Pennington. Curtis Martin. And tripped up initially by Surtain. We welcome those of you watching the New England Patriot Buffalo Bill game, and a victory for New England, 18th consecutive victory. We are in Pro Player Stadium in Miami. The Jets 2-0. Miami has lost their first 3 games. The Jets were idle last week. Both teams have had it twice. Both teams have punted. A good return by Santana Moss and some good offense down to the 10-yard line, where it is first and goal for the New York Jets.
And if you're in a field position game and all you have really is a strong defense, you lose 26 yards of those hidden yards in the first 2 possessions. You get in these kind of situations.
Soule goes as a wide receiver. Pennington to the end zone, and a little bit short this time. He goes underneath and finds Corbett. He had Soule in the corner, but he goes underneath that route, hits Corbett at about the 4. It's a gain of 6. With that New England win, you can see the most consecutive wins in NFL history.
A lot of teams there, but only one really concerned a lot about streaks would be the Miami Dolphins and their fans. And Miami gets New England to go up there to Foxborough and see if they can do something about them snapping that string.
Jason Taylor has just come back in the game for the Dolphins. He left for a couple plays because he was injured. Second and goal at the 4. Beck, the tight end, is in motion, and the handoff goes to Martin around the Soule block, and he's down to the 1. In a lot of these cases, they've been bringing in James Reed, but not on that one, and now it will be 3rd and goal.
They probably will now. Big number 93 comes in at fullback, and he is a beast looking for blockers when they do use him at that fullback position.
Dearth will be another tight end put in for Pennington.
And if there's a place, Kevin, to attack this Dolphins team right now, without Larry Chester and Tim Bowens in at the inside tackle positions, people go after them inside. They're too fast. You don't run outside well against this defense.
Soule will be the lead blocker for Martin. Should that be the case, there are 3 tight ends. It is 3rd and goal for Pennington. And it is Martin and the Soule block and the easy Curtis Martin touchdown with yellow on the field. A flag has been thrown.
Going to be an offsides against the Miami defense.
They had 6 defensive linemen up there.
Offside defense, 91. Penalties declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Curtis Martin goes into the end zone for the 4th time on the ground this season.
Check out the offensive line, especially in here in the middle, and watch the nice job coming around from the backside that Pete Kendall does. Pete Kendall runs around, the defense reacts, and Martin scores.
And the Bryan extra point is up and in. The great field position for the New York Jets was set up on a 24-yard punt return by Santana Moss, capped by Curtis Martin's 1-yard touchdown run. 5 total touchdowns on the season for Curtis Martin, 4 on the ground. He had the 1-yard touchdown run, and that was set up on a 24-yard punt return by Santana Moss. So 7-0 Jets the ensuing kickoff. And Welker inside the 10-yard line for Miami. Gets away from Glenn. And then finally gang tackled by rookie Derek Strait up near the 42-yard line on a 35-yard return. Miami's had it twice, 2 consecutive 3-and-outs. Looking for more on offense. We'll tell you that story when we get back to South Florida after this.
On CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by NFL Sunday Ticket only from DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV or visit your local retailer for details.
Beautiful weather here this week in Miami on South Beach from the 42-yard line. 1st down and 10. Brian Thomas is on the defensive line for the Jets. First time he has played all season long. The former #1 pick a couple years ago. And on 1st and 10, Fiedler goes off to Randy McMichael, the #1 receiving tight end coming into this week in the NFL. Pulled out of bounds by the aforementioned Brian Thomas. A gain of 20 to the 38-yard line.
Real quick, this is Kevin Mawai. This is the normal left guard, Pete Kendall. Kendall played center last year in Arizona. First short yardage goal line situation. They move Kendall to center. Mawai goes to guard. And Curtis Martin just follows his pulling, I guess you call him pulling center / guard around for that score. And they're running inside.
From the Jet 38, it is 1st and 10 for Miami and Leonard Henry. By Vilma, among others on that defense, and a gain of 2 to the 36.
And Kev, we saw a good reason the last 2 possessions why Miami's got to be patient with this run, and it doesn't always make sense if you're getting 0 and 1 and 2. And I don't care how malign this offensive line is, they just have to suck it up and figure out a way to have effective yards running the ball. Because if they want to just go 3 and punt, they want to be ineffective, they'll wear this defense out for Miami in the 3rd quarter instead of the regular 4th quarter.
Rob Conrad, the fullback for Miami, has been inactive the first 3 games, so seeing his 0-4 NFL action for the first time is Fiedler. On the run, he's got to get to the 28 and runs into the defense of Reggie Tongue. It's a gain of 3. He's to the 32-yard line. That'll set up 3rd down and about 5 yards to go. And Randy, some of the keys today.
Well, pretty simple for the New York Jets. When you're playing this offense or this defense for Miami, you've got to get to the 2nd level. You got to get to the linebackers when you're blocking. Key to the offensive line. For Miami, real simple. Can this offense outscore the defense? Because the defense will get a turnover. The defense will be responsible for points. If they have a chance to win, Miami's offense has to outscore Jason Taylor in this defense.
6 in the secondary. It is 3rd and 4 from the Jet 32. Fiedler with 3 receivers, including Thompson. Hits McMichael for a 2nd time on this drive. Tackled by McGraw. Has the 1st down to the 25-yard line. It's a gain of 7 on 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, if you're going to play this offense right now without Chris Chambers in at wide receiver, which is a huge blow, tendonitis, sore knee, you don't have your marquee receiver on the outside, you're down to 1 marquee receiver, and that's the big tight end out of the University of Georgia, Randy McMichael. He can stretch it down the field. He can make the good short catches and run well with the ball, but no mystery for the Jets defense. Stop the one weapon.
25-yard line, 1st and 10. Play action by Fiedler. Pocket crumbles, gets away from Abraham, then drilled by Eric Barton. Back at the line of scrimmage, it'll be 2nd down and 10 as we make our second trip to New York. And Craig Gumbel.
Thank you, Kevin, but who's counting? Hey, Denver at Tampa Bay. Patrick Hape on the receiving end of a 5-yard touchdown pass from Jake Plummer. The Broncos grab a 7-0 lead on the Bucs. Under 3 minutes to play. First quarter. Kevin and Randy, back to you.
Plummer's pretty good on the road, Greg. In his last 6 starts, he's had 6 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions. He loves to play away.
And Mike Shanahan's what, 7-1 working against Chucky?
Yes, he is, against John Gruden. 2nd down and 10 from the 25 of the Jets. Michael was on the move, serving as a blocker for Leonard Henry. And Henry corkscrewing his way down to about the 19-yard line, hit by Coleman in the secondary. It's a gain of 6. I mentioned McMichael because he was serving as the surrogate fullback when Conrad was out with the injury. And that takes us to the end of the first quarter. A Curtis Martin 1-yard touchdown run. We go to the second with the Jets on top, 7-0. On the previous 2 possessions by Miami, 3 and out, but they're moving the ball well here inside the Jet 20 with a 3rd and 4.
You made a great point about Randy McMichael previously sort of coming out of that fullback position. He's been the quarterback safety valve, the dump-off guy. That's why he's got the number of reception he has early. He hasn't been getting as far down the field in the first 3 games as you've seen him today.
6 in the Jet secondary. First play of the second quarter. Ellis is on Fiedler. The pass is caught. It's Brian Gilmore. He's got a first down inside the Jet 15. Hit by Tongue. And Gilmore making his first Miami start. He was waived earlier this year by Arizona.
Yeah, this is just a Jay Fiedler play, because in an offensive timing, if you don't have the timing with your drop because you're getting the pressure, you have to create it with your legs. And that's what Jay Fiedler did working with Gilmore, is buy himself a little time, create a little timing, and try to make up for the lack of time he's got with these new receivers.
15-yard line, 1st and 10, 2 tight ends, 8th play of the drive. Jets back to their base defense with Fiedler given off to Leonard Henry, who is brought down by Sean Ellis. And a loss of 4 on the play, back near the 19-yard line. Ellis playing well so far. A Pro Bowler a season ago for the first time in his career.
Yeah, Kevin, how often do we hear the stories about the underdog, a running back, a defensive back, a wide receiver, and Leonard Henry is just that kind of underdog. A kid that was in Europe this offseason, was injured there, was injured in training camp, becomes the 5th running back that the Dolphins have used this year. I mean, he was tackled by good play there by Sean Ellis. But this Leonard Henry is, I think he's got the goods to be a pretty good running back.
Conrad in the slot, 3 receivers. It'll be 2nd down and 14. And Henry tries to wiggle his way for some room and maybe gets a yard at the 18-yard line. That's where they get him. And brought down on the play by Donnie Abraham.
You saw a little bit of why I think this kid can be a pretty good running back, Kevin, because he doesn't have much stop in him. And it's true of a lot of football players, especially young football players, that finally get their shot. And you see it's Mr. Williams there on the left-hand side. We should be running a little Bob Marley with this graphic. But the rest of them, because of injury and everything else. But this is Leonard Henry's shot. And he says, hey, let me take advantage of it.
3rd and 13. They've got McGraw and Straight in the secondary. So 6 back there for the Jets as Fiedler throws incomplete to Gilmore, who had Barrett and Straight sandwiching him near the 15-yard line. And so now the Jets hold him out and let him try for 3.
That's a matter of lack of timing and lack of experience. And Jay Fiedler, that's where they are on offense in these days, is he's got to go to the sideline and kind of coach him up. You know, if you can't get that actual experience on the field during practice or a game, you come to the sideline, you got to say, okay, that happens again, here's where I'll put it.
Lindo Mate from 37 yards away gets Miami on the board. Remember, coming into today, Miami had the fewest points scored in the NFL. Good catches on that drive by Randy McMichael.
Yes is sponsored by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. And by T-Mobile. Get more minutes, more features, more service.
So the Dolphins get 3 out of their 11-play 40-yard drive and took over 6 minutes on that clock. We're just into the second quarter with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan.
Chris Chambers, wide receiver, sitting out with a tendonitis in the knee and resting it. And the Dolphin offense might have had their best drive of 2004 after going into the 4th game of this early season with that performance just then.
So after Orlando Mare connected from 37 yards away, the ensuing kickoff, Lamont Jordan from the 1-yard line for the Jets. And kickoff returns have been a problem for New York in this early season with the tackle made right there by Jimmy Wyrick, a 21-yard return. So the Jets, who scored the last time they had the ball, will get it again, leading 7. This week on NFL.com, Shannon Sharpe breaks down the good, the bad, and the ugly in the NFL as only he can tell it. It's only on NFL.com or at NFL on AOL. After the kickoff and after Miami's field goal, it is 1st and 10 for the Jets at their 23-yard line. Soule is in the slot. Corbett is another receiver. And Martin in the backfield for Pennington, who goes right to work. And Pennington hits Corbett. Tackled by Seau, 46-yard line of Miami, a 31-yard pickup and a first down.
That was a perfect pass by Chad Pennington. A nice reception by Wayne Corbett. And I got to add either it's a 3rd good pass, a 3rd good catch, and a 3rd pure luck, because he gets it right there in between. And the reason he had that much time, look at the nice job Jason Fabini and the left side, Pete Kendall, are doing on Jason Taylor. I'm not sure Taylor right now is at full speed. He was out for a while, and he's just not moving like normal.
And Fabini's not at full speed. He had back problems this week, missing practice.
Should be even.
I would say so for the 46, 1st and 10. It's Curtis Martin. Right into the middle of that defense and a pickup of 4 to the 42-yard line. Let's go back to New York in our studios with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Kevin, San Diego had taken the lead on a LaDainian Tomlinson touchdown, but Billy Volek, starting for injured Steve McNair, 4 yards to Derek Mason. They're tied in the second quarter at San Diego, Tennessee, and the Chargers 7-7.
And remember this, Greg, Billy Volek getting his first start since rupturing his spleen in December last year against the Buffalo Bills. McNair was a couple nights in the hospital this week with the bruised sternum. 2nd down and 6 from the 42. They got one of their tight ends, Baker, on the move. And the fake to Martin with Pennington going long and incomplete. The coverage was there by Antoine Edwards on a pass intended for Santana Moss, and a flag is down.
Holding, 65 of the offense, 10 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
And that is first-year starting right guard Brandon Moore. Cut a couple times by the Jets, but here he is, a former college defensive lineman. So now they'll push him back to the 48-yard line.
Well, Moore's maturity and Kendall's addition at left guard. See, here's Moore here. There's Kendall there. Look at the job they do protecting. I mean, Moore gets called for holding, but one of the keys this offense has done so well early is the development of Moore and getting Pete Kendall as a free agent from the Arizona Cardinals.
They got to get to the 36. Freeman and Howard are in the secondary. Corbett is the 3rd receiver from the 47. 2nd down and 16. They dump it off to Curtis Martin with an escort, and he is into Miami territory and then brought down by Scanina and Junior Seau on a gain of 4 to the 48. As you take a look at 35-year-old Junior Seau. Monday on CSI Miami, a new investigator joins the team and gets thrown into the most controversial case ever. Don't miss a new episode of Monday's #1 show, CSI Miami, Monday at 10, 9 Central on America's most watched network, CBS. 3rd down and 12, and again, they got to get to the Dolphin 36. Kendall will snap it. Martin picks up the blitz of Anturo Freeman. And the pass was caught by Corbett. He was out of bounds when he caught it. So an incomplete pass is Mawai, who shifted to guard on that particular play with Kendall snapping. Got into a little shoving match with the nice club he's got now on his hand.
With Jason Taylor. You talked about Jason Taylor being a little slow, but he's definitely fired up. There you go. Watch Corbett's feet. Are they in? Does he have the ball? By the time possession is actually made by Corbett, the feet are off the ground, and he doesn't have the feet in. There you go, Whack.
Toby going to punt, and he's had touchbacks his first 2 punts. This is the third of the game for him. Wes Welker is back. This baby is way up there. And a great bounce for the Jets, and downed by Straight at the 3-4 yard line. 44-yard, well-placed punt. Curtis Martin's touchdown run has the Jets on top of Miami. Sunny day in Miami with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan marooned at his 4. Jay Fiedler named a starter this week. First down and 10 yards to go.
This is the field position. If you're the Jets defense, this is where you set your offense up, or you get a chance to score points yourself.
Alan Harper is in on the defensive line for the first time in his career as Leonard Henry slashes his way, breaking a tackle of Eric Barton in a foot race with Reggie Tongue. The former practice squad player out of East Carolina, Leonard Henry, blazing a trail of 53 yards to the Jets' 43-yard line.
All the way from down deep is going to be Henry, starting this way, and then just cuts back. Look at the nice blocking up front from his offensive line. Nice job by Whitley, getting just latched on, turning, blocking, and then it's just a nice gaping hole that Henry's able to take advantage. And talk about doing an excellent job of taking away the field advantage as far as the position.
So the longest play this season on offense by the Dolphins of 53 yards puts him at the 43-yard line. And Sammy Morris is in for the exhausted Henry on 1st and 10. Fiedler throws low, and Gilmore the catch, makes the grab at the New York Jet 27-yard line. It's a gain of 16 yards, another first down.
I tell you, one guy that's made a big difference in this offense that we haven't spent enough time talking about is Rob Conrad at fullback. Not only is the lead blocker on that last play, but is coming out into the flat in front of Jay Fiedler as another option, so that the linebackers have to suck up to him, opening up that area for Fiedler to throw that ball in.
Morris remains in the game, and Terrell Buckley is now playing a corner atop your screen for the Jets on defense. Donald Lee was in motion, one of the tight ends, and Sammy Morris brought down quickly on the play by Victor Hobson, a loss of a yard, and push him back to the 28-yard line. Monday in an all-new late show with David Letterman, he welcomes former presidential candidate Howard Dean, and later this week, don't miss Jamie Foxx and the father and son team from American Chopper. He's all new all this week on CBS.
I see you on a chopper, kid. Cruising around Kansas City.
I was on with Jerry Glanville once, and that was the last time I'm ever going to get on. Second down
Well,
and
it depends
11.
on who you pick to get on
That's
with.
right. The driver's a big deal. Leonard Henry is back in the game. From the 28. They got to get down to about the 17-yard line. Fiedler with time and going deep and looking for Marty Booker. The coverage on the play by safety Eric Coleman. It'll be 3rd and 11.
Jonathan Vilma, the rookie middle linebacker, inside linebacker, playing for the Jets today for Sam Coward, who's out with a ding knee. Spent his career obviously here at the University of Miami, and you don't have to have too many conversations with this young man to come away incredibly impressed. I know Herman Edwards, his head coach, and Donnie Henderson, his defensive coordinator, are very impressed at how fast he's mentally picked up this game, how sharp he is, and he's basically a veteran leader in his first year.
3rd and 11, straight. Abraham and McGraw in the secondary. They number 6, and on 3rd down and 11, Fiedler on the move. He's got to get to the 17, and he was tripped up nicely on the play by John McGraw.
Ball's down.
He looks like he should be short by a yard.
Ball's loose.
And they're going to call it a fumble. I thought they marked him down, but it is a fumble on the play, and the Jets have recovered. I thought he was down. Let's see this again. McGraw is the one who tripped him down, and his knee, it looked like his left knee was down.
Yeah, but coming from the backside is the biggest story. You look at 52 at Hobson. Right hand knocks the ball out before he ever gets to the ground. The elbow doesn't get to the ground. Victor Hobson.
They will challenge.
I'm sorry, it's Kenyatta Wright, 52. Kenyatta Wright comes in from the backside and knocks that out.
So they will review it.
I think that ball's out before that elbow is. Okay, watch the ball. left hand and the left knee. Is the ball moving out before either of the others go down? I think the hand is inches off the ground, the knee is inches off the ground, and that ball is loose before either one of them gets down. I think that is a great call by our official that's right there. Because Sean Ellis comes in and just racks that right hand, and that ball comes loose.
Well, the Jets come into the game number 1 in the AFC, number 3 in the NFL in the takeaway giveaway. That was coming into this week. The Dolphins were dead last at -7 in the takeaway giveaway coming into this week 4. Jerry Austin is our official, our referee here today in Miami.
After reviewing the play, the runner's knee touches the ground before the ball comes out. It'll be 4th down and 2 to 19.
That is huge because now they can try for.
Charge the timeout.
Now they can try for 3. I don't know if the official thought that ball was completely away with his knee down. I mean, obviously that's what he thought.
What Jerry Austin must rule is that the ball is not out until it actually gets to the ground.
Right.
But the knee is down there. Yeah, to me it looks like that ball is coming out from the time he starts putting it down. So, but what I think really doesn't matter.
Well,
but what Orlando Mara can do now with that opportunity is what matters at this point.
The Jets defense does keep him out of the end zone. Now here's the field goal try of 37 yards, and it is perfect by Orlando Mara. And Miami gets back on the board and trailing now by 1.
We got a chance to take those points. Don't do anything dumb. Take those points.
On CBS is sponsored by Cisco Systems. This is the power of the network now. Circuit City. For the hottest new technology, think Circuit City. Just what I needed. And by Cadillac and the all-new STS. Breakthrough.
Beautiful day on the Intercoastal Waterway as you take a look at our new score here in Miami. That field goal was set up on a 53-yard run by Leonard Henry.
All made possible by the offensive line of Miami, really doing a nice job.
So after the 37-yard field goal, Mara gets a little juice into that kick, and it's out of the end zone with the touchback to the 20-yard line. What about the offensive line? 5 new starters this year.
Tony Wise and his whole group, so far so good. Don't give away any prizes yet.
The 5th possession coming up for the New York Jets. That touchdown run of a yard by Curtis Martin at that 3rd possession.
This is the point of a ball game. If you're the New York Jets, you're trying to establish yourself as one of the better offenses in the league. This is the time for a good, long, methodical drive.
Pennington on the touchback after the Orlando Mara kickoff. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line, and play action by Pennington. Out to Gerald Soule, who led all fullbacks in the AFC with receptions a year ago. Pushed out of bounds on the play by Antoine Edwards. Close to a 1st down. He is near the 30-yard line.
I think most fans would say, hey, look, what's happening to Anthony Becht in this offense? Why isn't the tight end catching more passes? Well, you know why? Soule's being used so much as a fullback / tight end out of that very same position in the offense, and he's getting more yards after the play. Once he gets the ball, he's much more of a threat than the tight end, so they basically made the tight end a blocking position and the fullback a tight end / fullback position.
Soule now becomes the 3rd receiver atop your screen. They did get a 1st down and the gain of 10 to the 30-yard line. Curtis Martin, and he rams his way into that defense. Robinson on that pile along with Jeff Scanina. Now Martin today has carried 10 times for 42 yards. He picks up 3 right there to the 32. And coming up next on the Nextel halftime report, join Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer for scores and highlights in the NFL next on the Nextel halftime report. 2nd down and 8 at the 32-yard line of the New York Jets. Mawai centering this one. Pennington. And that is caught. Nice grab by Baker, who runs into the defense of Knight with the catch at the 46-47-yard line. It's a gain of 15 yards and a Jet 1st down.
Hey, if you're going to take a chance and you're going to bring a linebacker like the Jets defense did, Dolphins defense did, Chad Pennington did a very nice job of replacing his guy to where their guy should be. It's right into the linebacker position that you'd normally see him drop into, put the tight end right into it.
Two tight ends, 47-yard line, 1st and 10. Pennington 7 of 10 throwing today. And Curtis Martin with Mawai pulling and blocking, and the tackle made from behind by Junior Seau, hustling from his linebacker position. A gain of 5 to the 48.
Jason Taylor on this last play, let's just take a look at him. I mean, earlier he had a little ice/heat or whatever on his hip. He's one of the fastest defensive players in the league. And that isn't a usual Jason Taylor backside pursuit. There's something wrong with Jason Taylor. Only 2 tackles so far today, and if I was the Jets offense right now, I might think about just going right at Jason Taylor.
2nd down and 5 from the 48. Curtis Martin. And a block by Santana Moss. And close to a 1st down is Martin on the tackle, which is made by Sammy Knight. He picks up about 4 on the play.
And the reason a little while ago I mentioned about this being a good time for a methodical drive. You've got an offense for Miami that's getting, for the first time this season, some real optimism, some confidence. Henry's running the ball well. The line's blocking pretty well. Take some hope away with a good drive. If you're the favored team, if you think you're the better team, you've got to take hope away from the other team.
It is a 1st down. Lamont Jordan has taken the place of Curtis Martin at the 43-yard line of Miami. The Jets 1st and 10. They fake to Jordan, and Pennington with a pass out to Beck, who is quickly tackled by the middle linebacker Zach Thomas. And for Anthony Beck, the 1st reception of the season, and no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
You know, you hear the talk all the time about this style of offense being a dink and dunk, and you can't argue with that. If you got a tight end and you've got linebackers here, they're going to be all over these tight ends, lined up close right. I mean, that's a dink and dunk. Dink and dunk is to your fullback and your tight end. Slants and whatnot could go all the way, but that's a minus dunk.
2nd down 10 from the 43-yard line. Martin is back in. It's a loose ball and then covered up on the play by McCarron's. A loss of 3, and push it back to about the 46-yard line.
There isn't a more confident pair of corners in this league than Surtain and Madison. And they will both guess. They will both jump routes. And nobody does it better than these guys. I mean, when they see formations, they see Chad Pennington rear up and throw this, you better hope your receiver, in this case McCarron's, gets to the ball before Madison does.
Howard and Freeman have been brought in, so 6 in the Miami secondary. Corbett is an extra receiver for the Jets. 3rd and 13. Martin is in the backfield. Mawai will center from the 46. And Pennington, and it is caught, but shy of the 1st down by Corbett. He caught one for 31 yards in the last drive. He picks up 11 when they needed 13, so they're 2 yards shy. It's 4th down and 2, and the ball will be at about the 35-yard line.
What wind there is here in this stadium is blowing from the left to the right. So if you're going to try a field goal in a situation like this, you're looking at a 53-yarder. But 3rd down is Wayne Corbett's down, and just now this week for the first time you're seeing the Jets start to use Wayne Corbett a little bit like they used to.
Well, this would have been a 53-yard field goal on grass, and our statistician Pat McGrath tells me that Doug Bryan has never kicked one over 52 yards on grass.
So you're saying he's due?
He's very due. With 2:15 to play in the 2nd quarter, we got a timeout, and the Jets holding on to a 1-point lead.
And by Saturn, people first.
Wonder what Mike Westhoff has up his sleeve. They're going to try for 3.
Well, I don't agree if they're trying to kick this one beyond the guy's range, his best ever, but I would not be surprised if you saw a direct snap to the kicker and a little pooch kick, something that pinned this Miami offense back. This is not the field position you want to give him. All 6. Last 6 misses from 50+.
He was hitting from 48 and 49 yards in pregame warmups. This is Doug Bryan. And the kick has got the distance, and it is good. How about that? A 53-yard field goal by Doug Bryan. His longest, 56 yards back in 1998. And he puts it through and gives the Jets a 4-point lead.
Puts it into the net from 53. He stroked this. What was he sleepwalking his last 6 from 50 plus? Because that one he just absolutely powdered.
And his longest ever off grass, we are told.
Nice little handshake on the sideline, little slap from Corbett to his coach Herman Edwards. Yeah, Herm looks like there was never a doubt.
So Doug Bryan, who's played with San Francisco, the Saints, the Colts, the Bucks, and the Vikings, puts it through. And now this year, he is a perfect 4 of 4 in the field goal category. Mike Westhoff was a Dolphins special teams coach a lot of those years with Don Shula and a couple with Jimmy Johnson from '86 to 2000, then goes to the Jets. And he is one of the more clever special teams coaches in the National Football League.
Well, he and Joe Avezzano, who seem like they've been around the NFL for years. They're both sort of the mad scientists of the special teams coaches.
Avezzano now is a special teams coach with the Oakland Raiders, with Norv Turner. And here's the ensuing kickoff by Toby Goen. And Welker at the 3-yard line. The former Texas Tech Red Raider trips, and B.J. Askew is there to stop him in his tracks. That's a 14-yard return. And he's out to about the 17-yard line. Well, this week, see why NCIS's Tuesday's most watched news show. Mark Harmon stars in NCIS Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on America's most watched network, CBS. So it is 10-6. Dolphins have gotten a couple 37-yard field goals. The Jets have gotten the 1-yard touchdown run of Martin, in addition to the 53-yard field goal by Doug Bryan.
There's Booker. The Dolphins traded for him in that Wale Ogunleye trade. So far, the wide receivers as a group only have 2 receptions, both by Gilmore.
17-yard line. Third receiver is Chambers. 1st and 10, and they blow that dead in
False start.
mid-motion.
70 offense. 5 yards. Still first down.
Now, what is interesting about Damian McIntosh getting a false start, he had 3 false starts last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And the call was against St. Clair, 70.
Oh.
They called him for the right tackle. But that's something that Dave Wanstad's had to put up with 10 times, now 11 times through less than 4 games. You've had first down penalties, making your offense go 1st and 15 or 1st and 20. He knows he doesn't have a good enough offense to make it every time from 1st and 10, much less extra yards.
1st and 15 from the 12 as Fiedler goes outside, and McMichael with the grab, and he is grabbed himself by free safety John McGraw. 6-yard gain. McGraw with the tackle.
He came down on the side of his ankle, all his weight.
And McMichael slow to get up. They're going to spot the ball at about the 17-yard line. We've reached the 2-minute warning here in Miami with the Jets and the Dolphins.
Randy McMichael again getting the ball from Jay Fiedler. Anytime you're trying to make that move and your foot gets caught underneath you, the whole thing just twists, kind of a basketball-like twisted ankle. And McMichael didn't come out of the game because that break in time there was because of the 2-minute warning, not because of an injury.
Terrell Buckley is in for Abraham, 2nd down and 9, and Henry with a quick handoff, but not much there. He is stuffed. And leading the brigade was Ellis. No gain on the play, and they also got a tackle from Brian Thomas. Active today for the first time. Timeout. Jets just called a timeout. They've now burned 2. They've got 1 left, 3rd down and 9. Jets have brought in some extra defensive backs. At the 18-yard line, nose of the ball, the back end of the ball hitting the 18. So it is 3rd and 9. They've got to get to the 27. Thompson is the extra receiver for quarterback Jay Fiedler. And with time throws to McMichael, who is grabbed by McGraw and well shy of the first down. He's out to the 22, picks up 8 yards on the play. And a timeout.
Could that be more boring, more conservative, you think?
Jets timeout. Jets have burned all their timeouts. They burnt that last one, and now the clock. Well, a little bit of time as the Dolphins are punting, and Turk gets it high. Santana Moss will wave it off and let it bounce. And it does, all the way to the 25-yard line. 48-yard punt by Matt Turk, who played with the Jets back in the 02 season. Coming up in the next halftime report, join Greg Gumbel, Dan Marino, Shannon Sharp, and Boomer Esiason for the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's the Nextel halftime report. The Jets, Randy, coming into this game, had allowed defensively only 10 points in the first 2 games in the first half. They've allowed already 6 in the first half today.
And really, the key to me has been Jay Fiedler has not made the mistake, hasn't had a turnover for this Miami offense, and they've been able to generate a running game, something they have not had the first 3 weeks. They have stood right with the New York Jets.
3 receivers, including Crevette, extra defensive backs for the Dolphins. It is 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line after the Miami punt. And Pennington to the air. The catch made by Santana Moss, and he grabbed it. He beat Antoine Edwards. He picked up 17 yards, and he's out to the 44-yard line. Moss's first catch today.
Hey, you talk about teams with good defenses. Miami, great defense. Jacksonville, an excellent young defense. Okay, Jacksonville is +2 in the turnover ratio. Miami, on the other end of the scale, is -10.
43-yard line. It is a first down. Same 3 receivers, 6 in the secondary, including Howard and Freeman for Miami. Pennington with the Fabini block in time to throw, and incomplete. 1:20 to play. Jets out of timeouts. Upcoming 2nd down and 10.
We mentioned this earlier, but I think Herm Edwards and everybody here playing on this surface has to be pretty impressed with the job they've done here at Pro Player Stadium with this field. If anybody saw that game last Sunday night, this field was an absolute slop pit. They replaced the entire grass surface here. It's a nice, tight, fast track. We've had absolutely no problems, and this field is less than 6 days old. And the baseball field was all in that 20, 30, 35-yard line area right there you just saw.
Jonathan Carter is coming as a receiver, 1 of 4 for Pennington. 2nd down and 10, and Pennington throws, and it's picked off on the play. Arturo Freeman with the block from Seau. And Freeman is inside the 10 and down to the 8. His first interception of the season, a return of 45 yards. And Chad Pennington's first interception thrown this season.
Some defenses you play against, Kevin, you can spot balls. You can kind of shove balls in. Chad Pennington, not a laser type thrower, needed to get that ball in there a lot faster, trying to get it to Crevette.
Pennington had not thrown an interception in over 3 games or 99 consecutive passes.
And Arturo Freeman looking the whole way, guessing Crevette and guessing right.
7-yard line. And it's 1st and 10, 1st and goal for the Miami Dolphins.
Plenty of time. Don't rush here.
Conrad on the move. And 3 receivers for quarterback Jay Fiedler, with Ellis bearing down in the pass. Incomplete to McMichael, who is covered on the play by Eric Barton. 2nd down and goal.
And if you've scouted at all the Miami Dolphins and you're the New York Jets, you're saying, what does a wide receiver, if they have one that can hurt me, what's he do well? Marty Booker is very, very good at catching a ball up over the top. If you're good at lobbing it, Marty Booker on a little fade route is very good at going and getting it.
There are 2 tight ends. It's 2nd down and goal at the 7. Fiedler. Here comes the rush of Hobson. And that foiled the pass of Fiedler. Victor Hobson taking the place of Mo Lewis, who is gone. And Hobson in his 2nd season in the NFL.
And one thing you want to do as a line in this situation is you want to be, as you know, obviously sieve free, but you've only got 5 blockers, and they had 5 people starting to blitz. That was very nice defensive scheme by Donnie Henderson, bringing that late blitz on Fiedler.
Dolphin offense has only scored 2 touchdowns in 46 possessions this year. Now they've got it. 3rd and goal at the 7. And Fiedler now with some time. It's Marty Booker, who was hit by Barton and then knocked by tongue at about the 6, and so the Jets defense keeps Miami out on a goal-to-go situation, and they look like they'll try for 3.
Got a little dividend from your off week where they practice a little fundamentals by the New York Jets and some good, quick, efficient tackling by the Jets defense, but I can't for the life of me think of why you don't throw the ball into the end zone any of those times on any one of those downs. You tried short right once and you tried short right again on the 3rd down.
They're letting the clock run down to about 8 seconds, 9 seconds. And a timeout taken by the Miami Dolphins, trying for 3. So they'll try for the field goal of 23 yards. And Olindo Mare has already kicked a couple today, and 3 more on the board for the Miami Dolphins. With 5 seconds to play in the half, another 1-point game. Go one season. He has lost his starting job twice in the last 2 training camps. This year it was Antoine Edwards who took his place when Edwards came here as a free agent from the Green Bay Packers. So another field goal. Mare has kicked 3, and here is the subsequent kickoff with the Dolphins down by 1, and Lamont Jordan will leave it in the end zone. 5 seconds with which to play in this first half from Pro Player Stadium in sunny Miami, Florida.
You know, Dave Wanstead has done a lot of coaching on the sideline, showed a lot of emotion on the sideline, as has Herman Edwards. But if you had to come out of this first half and say, you know, whose game is this? Whose style are we playing? We're not playing Herman Edwards in the New York Jets style of football here. At 10-9, this is Miami's style. They want their defense to be a factor. They want a turnover to be a factor. They want to hang with you. Dave Wanstead knows his offense isn't good enough to score a whole bunch of points. They want to hang and take their shot late.
Well, the Dolphins, off to their worst start in 35 years, in last place in the AFC East, winless at 0-3. And the Jets undefeated 2-0 coming in. That's the end of the first half with a 10-9 Jets lead. The next show halftime report from New York comes your way after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. With Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Why a different Miami team today?
Well, the difference to me is, Kevin, they haven't run the ball effectively in the first 3 weeks. They've given the ball up, and they haven't gotten enough turnovers. First half against the Jets, good running game, key turnover, and Jay Fiedler in the offense has been very smart with the ball. This is the style that Dave Wanstead, heck, this is the style Jimmy Johnson beat people with during the 90s here in Miami. Effective running, strong defense, and not making the dumb mistake.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers with Miami down by 1 through 30 minutes of football.
You see the time of possession lead and the yards lead and everything else, but Miami has not given the Jets the opportunities that they normally have given their opponents so far in 2004. And from that standpoint, Dave Wanstead and his coaching staff have to be very happy with Jay Fiedler and the Miami offense. And I got to say one thing, that offensive line has played well, and they played terrible the first 3 weeks.
And we kick off the second half with Welker from the 5-yard line for the Miami Dolphins, then grabbed by Glenn and torn down. 25-yard line, a 21-yard return. Some fantasy numbers.
Big number of those zeros there at the bottom for interceptions for Fiedler. And if you had Leonard Henry on your fantasy team, you are a magician. You are Karnak, if you could think ahead far enough to have him on a fantasy team.
No changes defensively for the New York Jets. There's Leonard Henry, who had that 53-yard romp, which set up one of the 3 Miami field goals in the first half. 2 tight ends for Fiedler, and play action on 1st and 10. Great catch. Marty Booker hit by Abraham and brought down 47, 48-yard line, a 23-yard strike.
Kevin, that's a little what I was talking about, the last possession that Jay Fiedler and the offense had down by the goal line. Marty Booker is a receiver that will go up and get it. He'll be coming out of the left side of your screen, and this is confidence. Jay Fiedler knows he's got a veteran receiver that will go get the ball. That was thrown away from the defenders, and where only Booker could go get it.
1st down and 10 from the 48-yard line. And Henry got away from Robertson, then is swallowed by Ferguson. A gain of 4 to the 48-yard line.
And that's something that Dwayne Robertson has done pretty well for the Jets so far this year, and that's penetrated into the backfield. But when you're going to tackle a kid like this Leonard Henry, who is getting his shot and is motivated, much like Dominic Davis was last year when he got his shot with the Houston Texans and had a big breakout game, you better drag him down, because this kid is not going to quit until he hears a whistle.
His first NFL start today, a former practice squad player. He was on the 4th rung of the depth chart when camp opened. Little movement.
Little.
And it goes to Henry, who is brought down by Barton on 2nd down and 6 with a gain of 2 and the 46-yard line. Let's see
63 of the defense, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Dwayne Robertson right up here at top of the screen does a little early attack towards Fiedler and Henry. It's never a flinch, never anything. That's just a pure guess by the young defensive tackle out of Kentucky, former 1st-round pick, who is finally playing like a 1st-round pick.
They traded up to get him. Up at 4 overall.
Oh, he's a guy that can wreak some havoc in there now if he starts getting his guess right on the snap and keeps that leverage going.
2nd one, handoff to Henry, tackled by Barrett, diving ahead to the 40-yard line, a gain of 3 and a 1st down.
I would love to get a microphone into this Miami Dolphins huddle. You know, it's times like this. This is a group, an offensive line that's been absolutely, heck, they were publicly pretty much belittled in one game a couple weeks ago, and the offense, everybody says, they're not worth a darn. You know what, today, this offensive line, this running game, this offense has decided to turn over a bit of a new leaf.
40-yard line of the Jets, 1st and 10 for Jay Fiedler. And the former 7th-round pick out of East Carolina, Henry. There goes a flag on the Ferguson tackle and a gain of 3 to the 36-yard line. 37-yard line. Slips to be on the Jets. Let's take a look at Jerry Austin, Super Bowl referee in 31 and 35. Jets.
Defender grabbed the runner's face mask, but the play was already over on the ground. It was not of the 15 variety. Therefore, there's no foul. 2nd down.
See that wristband that Leonard Henry's wearing? He never takes that thing off. Says God, says several things. He got several biblical quotes on there. He's got his mom's name on it a couple times. But you have to be impressed by this young kid and the way he's running. The heck with running when you're wide open. The way he's running when tacklers are in his backfield or when the first tackler gets to him. He's getting yards after first contact.
2nd down, 7, 37-yard line. 2 penalties on the Jets today. They came into the game with 5 total. 5 receivers intercepted by Donnie Abraham. He will go the distance. Donnie Abraham with his 4th career touchdown and his 2nd of the season. He had a fumble recovery touchdown against the Bengals, and he races 66 yards on the pick right there of Jay Fiedler.
So this offense comes out. Look at the defense. Look at the backfield. No back. Watch the corner right there, Abraham. Read the quarterback. Sees the route. He'll break before the wide receiver in front of him ever gets to his break on his route. Donnie Abraham is already going to the ball. already reading the pass, already got 6 points in his mind.
Extra point by Doug Bryan. So the second touchdown this season by Donnie Abraham, returning a fumble against the Bengals, taking a Fiedler one to the house right here.
That was Rob Conrad at wide receiver.
17-9 on a 66-yard interception touchdown return by Donnie Abraham, his second touchdown this year, the fourth of his career, and the ensuing kickoff going to Welker 3 yards deep in the end zone for the Miami Dolphins. Putting on the brakes before he is smacked by straight 20-yard return.
Well, here's good observation by Donnie Abraham, being a veteran. There's Donnie Abraham. Right there is Conrad, number 44, a fullback. Do you respect a fullback at wide receiver? No. You jump that route, and you take advantage of the quarterback. That is a smart move by Donnie Abraham. That's why he bit and went so early on that route. He wasn't afraid of Conrad getting by him, and Fiedler never really disguised it. He was looking at Conrad the whole way.
Terrell Buckley has been taking the place of Abraham, in and out throughout the first half. Now he is taking the place of Barrett on the other side is Buckley. 1st and 10, 17-yard line for Fiedler. And here comes Vilma. And a little shovel pass by Conrad. Did he have it? It's picked up by Hobson. He will take it in.
No, incomplete.
They're saying an incomplete pass. But an alert play nonetheless by Victor Hobson, the linebacker. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10.
Getting that early pressure. He's got to step up, just shovel it out. Never really has possession. You have to have it and actually do a football movement with both hands. That ball is never settled in either one of the hands of Rob Conrad, and these Dolphins fans for the 3rd time this year have seen their offense score a touchdown in the wrong direction.
2nd down and 10. Hand off to Henry, goes right in the middle of that defense. That's a gain of 2. There is a new right tackle for the Dolphins in, and that is Wade Smith, who is taking the place of the injured John St. Clair, who was injured on that return by Abraham of the Jets. So Wade Smith is now the new right tackle.
See Hobson, 54, coming in and hitting Fiedler, and then Fiedler going into the back of the legs of Smith, of St. Clair, and that's why Wade Smith is there in the game.
6 in the secondary. Thompson is the 3rd receiver. 3rd and 8. They got to get to the 27. Great time for Fiedler. Throws, and he's got Darius Thompson. And he's got a 1st down, grabbed from behind by Eric Coleman. It's a gain of 25 on 3rd and 8. He's up to the 44.
8 points, not that big a deal for the Miami Dolphins, and I know it's not exactly a prolific offense so far this year, but Jay Fiedler in this offense, you can tell that Chris Forrester, their offensive coordinator, has got a lot of faith in Fiedler. He throws a touchdown on an interception, the 3rd one for a Miami quarterback this year, and they come right out strumming it, that one to Thompson.
Fiedler has hit 5 different receivers on 3rd down today. 1st and 10, 44-yard line. We have Henry in the backfield and Donald Lee in motion. Lee will be the lead blocker for Henry, who is grabbed by Robertson at the 46 and a gain of 2. Make it 2nd down and 8. The Survivor men and the Survivor women are falling apart, and a mysterious stranger arrives and affects them in ways they can't imagine. Don't miss America's most watched reality show, Survivor. That's Thursday at 8, 7 Central on CBS.
Ricky Williams finally showing up. He's down in the region. He could drop by.
He's in that area, in a tent, no less.
So are they.
Yes. Buckley remains at 2nd down and 8 from the 46. Abraham is standing up on the bottom of your screen. They blow that play dead.
Motion against the offense.
Again.
Ball start, 85 offense, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
And that is Donald Lee, the 2nd tight end. Now 2nd down and 13 back at the Miami 41-yard line. They got to get to the 46 of the Jets. And Fiedler, ball is out. It's loose and grabbed by Eric Barton, the ex-Raider, and a grab ball on the fumble. It's a turnover, and they've got it 1st and 10 at the 40 of the Miami Dolphins.
Talked earlier about a pocket collapsing on a quarterback. Perfect example. He steps up, pocket keeps collapsing, ball's out, and Barton's there in the perfect position to catch it in the air.
On CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by Bud Light, fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
They initially ruled it a fumble, then they called it an interception by Barton. Now they don't know what they're going to call it, so we're going to wait. It's a turnover nonetheless.
Well, it was a sack and a strip or something by John Abraham coming from the defensive end position that knocked that ball up into the air so Barton could catch it.
Curtis Martin today, 12 carries and 52 yards on the turnover, 41 of Miami. Pennington 1st and 10. And Martin with Mawai in a block and a tackle by Bowens, and they throw for a loss of about a half yard on the play to the 41-yard line.
Just watch John Abraham coming from the bottom of the screen and how he collapses Damian McIntosh, the big left tackle. Gets that little chip there by Henry, knocked him back inside, and actually knocked him right back into where Fiedler was stepping up as that pocket collapsed.
2nd down and 10. At the 41, it's a long 10 yards. Beck, who had his first catch of the season, is on the move. Martin, Soul with the block. And a tackle made by Surtain. At the 38, gain of 3, it'll be 3rd down.
I'd like to show you what it means to run through a defender. Watch Brendan Moore, the right guard, 65. This is running through a defender. See that? Marlon Greenwood happens to be the designated speed bump on that one.
Freeman is in along with Howard, so 6 in the Miami secondary. Corbett is in as an extra receiver, naming 3 of them now out there. 3rd down, long 7. Soul becomes a receiver at the bottom of your screen. Pennington, who is 12 of 15, throws incomplete, looking for Martin. Pennington has thrown an interception today. That's an incompletion. It is 4th down, and the New York Jets have got a punt. And they can't cash in on the interception, fumble, whichever they rule, by Eric Barton.
Well, at least early. You know, Kev, you get in this situation where you're kicking from this part of the field. You got to have Toby Gowan put this thing inside the 10-yard line, preferably inside the 5.
His last punt was at the 4-yard line. This has great hang time. Welker will fair catch it at the 13-yard line. A 30, make it a 25-yard punt. Timeout. 7:28 to. Okay, the Jets just punted 14-yard line. Miami will begin a little bit of housekeeping. They are calling the Barton recovery an interception.
And now the Dolphins are playing the Jets football game too. 2 early turnovers by the offense. This is how Herman Edwards wants the Dolphins to play.
Barrett back in at the corner for the Jets. 1st and 10, 14-yard line. Fiedler to Leonard Henry. Grabbed by James Reed on the defense. No gain. 2nd down and 10. Reed from Iowa State. Tonight on CBS, no matter how many years a murder goes unsolved, one detective won't let justice die. The hit drama Cold Case is back with the season premiere. You will not forget tonight at 8, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. 2nd down and 10. The numbers on Fiedler from the 14-yard line. And Fiedler to the air, and it's caught by Donald Lee, who is caught himself by Jonathan Vilma, who grew up here in Miami. It's a gain of 4 and to the 18-yard line.
We talked about going away at halftime and coming back at the start of the third quarter, that Miami had semi-solved some of their problems, which was not giving the other team so many opportunities, one of which was a turnover and one of which was a turnover for a touchdown. The third time this year that a Miami quarterback's had an interception taken back for a touchdown.
6 in the secondary for the Jets. They put Thomas on the defensive line, a third receiver, Darius Thompson. 3rd down and 6. They've got to get to the 24. And Fiedler going deep on the side, broken up by Abraham, but yellow on the play. They were looking for Marty Booker down the sideline, and Abraham was leaping high, going for the pass.
It's going to be against the Jets.
They've only had 2 penalties on
Illegal
today.
contact. 29 of the defense. 5 yards. Automatic first down.
Watch the left or the right arm of Abraham. They get going. Kind of slaps it out there. Little contact backing into him.
Boy, that's
well, I tell you what, defensive back these days, you can't even complain about penalties. Because it sure doesn't seem to take much to make it a defensive back, illegal contact. Touching him is illegal contact.
Terrell Buckley, who played for the Dolphins last year, has taken the place of Abraham on that corner. 1st and 10 from the 23. Fiedler down the side, and it is hauled in by Gilmore, tackled by Barrett. The catch made at the Jet 40-yard line. It's a 37-yard pickup.
Brian Gilmore getting a kick out of all his catches on this one. They just dropped this right over the top of Barrett before a safety can get there, and sometimes you think you got to get credit for 3 there. Quick pump by Fiedler keeps the safety from getting there too early and dropping in 1, 2, 3. That's 3 catches.
From the Jet 40, 1st and 10. Second long completion to Gilmore today, making his first NFL start. Henry grabbed by Vilma. The rookie making his first NFL start near the 36-yard line, a gain of about 4 on the play. And we're still seeing Wade Smith playing the right tackle because John St. Clair has got an ankle injury and a knee injury, and his return is questionable this afternoon. I guess now we're in the evening. It is about 6:20, isn't it?
Only 8 points in this game, and there can't be any let up for this Jets defense because this Miami offense, despite the turnovers, thinks it can move the ball against New York.
Booker is out. Thompson is in. 2nd down, 6, and Vilma with another tackle on Henry, stopping him in his tracks, and no gain on the play. And you'll notice today we've had the CBS game tracks running across the bottom of the screen. It features constant scores of all of their games in the NFL and player statistical updates. And I, for one, have loved it. You see Philadelphia's win over Chicago and the big day by Donovan McNabb. 3rd and 6 coming up from the Jet 36. Straight and McGraw brought in, so 6 in the secondary for New York.
McMichael, the tight end, at the bottom of the screen.
3 receivers for Fiedler, and he's got to get to the Jet 30. And going long on the side, looking for Booker, who is going with Terrell Buckley. Incomplete. Again, Buckley played a season ago with the Miami Dolphins. Also played 5 years for the Dolphins in the late 90s.
Well, one thing Chris Chambers, the receiver that's out, didn't do twice last week against the Steelers is become a defender when the ball's in the air, and Booker really becomes a defensive back trying to prevent the other guy from catching it. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. It's sort of at the outer limits of Mare. Probably 53, 54 yards, but they need touchdowns, not field goals at this point.
So 3 receivers, 4th down, 6. They got to get to the 30. And Fiedler will go deep on the side, and for Booker, who is double teamed and incomplete. They had Barrett there, and they had Eric Coleman, the rookie from Washington State. It's incomplete, and on downs, Fiedler gives it back to the Jets.
You can't fault them for not taking their shots, Kevin.
On CBS is sponsored by Paramount Pictures' Team America World Police. Starts Friday, October 15th. This film is not yet rated. And by IBM, the official on-demand business consultants for the NFL.
Coming into today, there were 6 unbeaten teams in the NFL. New England is one. The Jets are winning. Philly won. Atlanta's playing Carolina. Seattle was idle. Jacksonville lost. On a change of downs, 1st and 10. On downs, Miami gives it back to the Jets. And a handoff to Curtis Martin, who today has carried it 15 times for 59 yards. He picks up on the play 6. 2nd down and 4 coming up. Your team needs to go 80 yards in 2 minutes for a win. Which quarterback do you want leading your team? Cast your vote at NFL.com.
Well, if it's a Super Bowl, I want that guy. If it's regular season, Peyton will do.
Soul becomes the 3rd receiver. Jonathan Carter's at the bottom of your screen. 2nd down 4 from the New York 42. Pennington looking for Soul, who got tangled up with Sammy Knight. No yellow on the field, and it's 3rd and 4.
Well, there's one thing, if I was New York, I'd be real careful of, and that's throwing passes on the outside for Herman Edwards' offense. Remember these corners. You got guys like Sammy Knight back in the middle, but on the outside, you got a little 23 and 29, Madison and Surtain. They will jump on you. They will guess. We already see Donnie Abraham guess and guess right and end up getting 6 points out of it.
A couple extra defensive backs for the Dolphins. 3rd down and 4. Corbett is in, 42-yard line. Pennington got away from Skinina, then who grabs him and brings him down with the sack. The 2nd Miami sack today. It's back at the 38-yard line. And the Jets, who previous to this possession had only had it one other time in the 2nd half, with a 3 and out, have got a punt again.
There's Skinina coming from right in that position, working against Kendall. Run a nice quick game in there. What a nice job. You talk about that word persistence a lot in football. Defensive linemen are usually the best definition of it in football. They just keep coming and coming.
Toby going with the punt. Welker is back inside the 25. After the ball lands at his feet and then kicks out of bounds at about the 21. A 39-yard punt. Dolphins get it back after the 2nd consecutive 3 and out for the New York Jets. Jets came in 2-0. Dolphins 0-3 for the first time since 1969. They get it after the going punt to the 22-yard line, 1st and 10. Curtis Martin's got a touchdown run. Donnie Abraham returned an interception, 66 yards for a touchdown. And Fiedler, named the starter earlier this week, kicks it outside to Donovan Lee. And hit and brought down by Trevor Johnson, a rookie defensive lineman out of Nebraska. It's a gain of 11 yards up to the 33 and a 1st down. Next Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS rocks when Eric Ainge and the Volunteers of Tennessee get down between the hedges with David Green and the Bulldogs. The action begins with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman on the TIAA Cruft College Football Today on CBS.
David Green, 5 touchdowns yesterday, but the Bulldogs ran for over 200 yards rushing.
He's a Heisman candidate, 33-yard line, 1st and 10. Leonard Henry. No place to run, and dives ahead. Eric Barton is the one who got him first. Then he was tagged by Barrett. Gain of 3 up to the 36. Well, Henry today has carried it 16 times for 82 yards. He had a mammoth 53-yard run earlier in the game. And then you see the numbers of Curtis Martin, who has gained over 100 yards in his first 2 games this season.
Well, they haven't gotten in trouble running the ball. They've gotten in trouble in the 2nd half throwing the ball. Trying to throw a quick out with an empty backfield to Rob Conrad. It ended up being a touchdown the other direction.
Buckley remains in there for Abraham. 2nd down 7. They got to get to the 43. And Fiedler with time throws, and it's caught by Marty Booker. He's past midfield. He's to the Jet 48. He's got a 1st down, a pickup of 16 yards. Tackle by Coleman.
You know, they say when you're playing a divisional opponent, familiarity breeds contempt. But I think in this case, familiarity breeds confidence. The Miami Dolphins offense came into this game not doing very much, to be nice, in the first 3 games, but it seems like they're picking up kind of where they left off late last December when they came back and beat these Jets late. This offense is playing right now with a lot of confidence.
Thompson takes the place of Booker as a receiver. 1st and 10, Dolphins at the 48 of the Jets. Fiedler got by Abraham, dumps it across for Conrad, interception by Victor Hobson on the ricochet. Another interception. So in 4 second-half Miami possessions, interception, interception, on downs, and interception.
If you had a little consolidated area, you'd say, give me one play to be typical of this season for Miami. That might be it so far.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Two's picked off the pass that ricocheted off the palms of Rob Conrad. Now let's go back. 1 turnover that Hobson got the last one. But the one by Eric Barton earlier in this half, they called fumble, interception, fumble. They've called it now an interception. Am I right? An interception? I'm getting confused.
No, a fumble.
A fumble.
A fumble, a sack and a fumble, and recovery by Barton.
It's 1st and 10 after the turnover by the Dolphins, and Curtis Martin with one of his better runs today, galloping for 12 yards. Tackled on the play by Junior Seau. They mark him down at the 40-yard line.
To the last miscue right here. If you're in trouble, throw a catchable ball. If the player's momentum is going this way, don't throw it behind him that way. All Conrad could do is reach back in the wrong direction, tip it up in the air, couldn't get 2 hands on it, and made it an easy layup for Hobson.
Jonathan Carter is the 2nd receiver with Moss. It is a 1st down, the first one for the Jets since late in the 2nd quarter. 40-yard line of Miami, 1st and 10. Play action by Pennington. And throws, and it's off the fingertips of Baker, covered by Moreland Greenwood. He grew up in New York State, grew up in Freeport, New York. Tonight on 60 Minutes, how does Bill Parcells turn losers into winners? There's only one way to find out. You'll watch 60 Minutes tonight on CBS.
I saw a little bite of that on the NFL Today. I just want to know if he actually says who it was that took a swing at him.
Any guesses?
No, he said, you know, confrontation is good. It's healthy. It clears the air a lot faster. No, that's boxing.
McCarron's is in. Corbett in as part of that 3 wide receiver package. 2nd down and 10 from the Dolphin 40. Bennington has missed his last 5 through the air. And Martin with the Corbett block and a tackle by Surtain as he's whipped down after a gain of 3 to the 37-yard line. Martin today 17 carries and 77 yards.
Well, you got to like the job that Jim Bates, the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, has done here in the 2nd half of guessing and blitzing, because he's bringing Jason Taylor off the edge. He's getting the cornerbacks, Madison and company, in some different positions, and he's bringing inside Junior Seau and Zach Thomas from deep on blitzes about half the time. 7 in the secondary with Bell, Freeman, and Howard. 3rd and 7. New York needs to get to the 30-yard line. Pennington. And here comes Jason Taylor, who brings him down. And the 3rd sack for Miami today, back at the 43. Taylor's got his 2nd sack of the season. Jason Taylor working in an unusual position. You know, he normally comes from the right defensive end. He's at left defensive end here, top of the screen against Kareem McKenzie. See McKenzie's weight all starts going right. Your momentum's right. Your knees aren't bent. And a guy like Jason Taylor feels that weight, gets that arm under the armpit, and just throws the big tackle out of the way and gets him a little quarterback. Going to punt, and deep back is Wes Welker at the 10-yard line for Miami. They'll take it from the 12. Shoved out of bounds on the play by Rashad Washington, a rookie from Kansas State. 8-yard return, 31-yard punt. All after the sack of Jason Taylor. Taylor with the sack, and Miami's got the ball at the 20. That was a great example, that last play, of what they call a hump move. Just get that big tackle moving and move the big old hump out of the way and go get the quarterback. Michael on the move from the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for Fiedler. And Leonard Henry brought down. Abraham leaps on him at the 23 on a gain of 3 yards. And that last play, Jason Taylor just got Kareem McKenzie going the wrong way. Now watch Watch this arm right here of Jason Taylor. The right arm get underneath McKenzie, throw him out of the way. I mean, John Abraham does that well. And then you got to figure out this one. Abraham does that good. Taylor does this excellent. He drew a circle. Oh, okay. Whatever that was.
Jets are in the dime, 2nd and long, 7, 23-yard line. Henry tripped up. And it was coming through on the line. Brian Thomas, no gain on the play.
That's one thing. We saw that celebration of Jason Taylor there just before that last play. It's now that you can't have group celebrations, you got to make up stuff to entertain yourself. You can't entertain other guys on your team or the crowd necessarily. Jason Taylor, that secret's known only to him. Kind of like, why do you run into the line a couple times and 1st and 2nd down? You're putting yourself in a situation here against this Jets defense. You got to put it up. They will come after Mr. Fiedler now.
They got to get to the 30, 3rd and long, 7. 6 in the secondary, and Fiedler throws. Incomplete. Going for Darius Thompson, covered on the play by the rookie from Oklahoma, Derek Strait. 3 and out for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, that was a nice job by Donnie Henderson's defense, the defensive coordinator of the Jets. They weren't afraid of the middle of the field because of the receiver combination the Jets had. They had 3 deep and 3 underneath, and there was nowhere to fit that ball in.
Santana Moss is back at the 30-yard line. And Turk gets it away. Lamar Jordan gave him some pretty good pressure. Wyrick brings him down the X-Lion at the 30-yard line. A 47-yard Turk punt. A 1-yard return. Wyrick with a good special teams play. And a timeout.
For the NFL and by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
A beautiful shot of downtown Miami with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. On the punt after a 3 and out by the Dolphins, 31-yard line for the Jets, 1st and 10. McCarrons and Moss are the 2 receivers. Pennington, he gets away from Jason Taylor and then chugs his way into the grass with Moreland Greenwood. A fumble on the play. The Dolphins think they've got it, and they do not. They say he was down at the 38. Gain of 7.
Jason Taylor did a nice job early of getting in the backfield. Martin gets away. Down, out. Well, is the ball moving? Is it out? Nope. One cheek as good as 2 knees.
What time is it? Can we say that at this time of the day? 2nd down and 2 at the 39. Martin leans his way into the defense. Seau, Zach Thomas were there. They get the 1st down, and he, on the play, picks up 3 at the 42-yard line. Tonight on CBS, the hit drama Cold Case is back with a season premiere you won't forget. Don't miss it tonight, 8, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network.
This is another opportunity for that offensive line of the New York Jets to take over this game and take away hope. Last time all they got was a field goal, and they didn't take away the Miami Dolphins' hope.
42-yard line, 1st and 10. Pennington moves up nicely in the pocket. On the move, Curtis Martin, tackled by Zach Thomas, 48-yard line. Gain of 6. Has the performance of Mawai surprised anybody today? He's been terrific.
Yeah, inside Kevin Mawai at center, and the job he's done coming around. He come into this game with a broken hand. The right hand of Kevin Mawai is in that club cast. Remember earlier today that you heard or saw Jason Taylor a little bit complaining to Mawai as he slapped him in the face with it a couple times. But, you know, try to hold with that thing.
And we've had a couple of Kendall snaps, but not many. Howard and Freeman are in, part of 6 in the secondary. 2nd down and 4 from the 48. Corbetta's in with Moss and McCarrons for Pennington. To the air. Caught by McCarrons. Hit by Antoine Edwards. They've packed the first down to the Miami Dolphins 37, a pickup of 15 yards.
Yeah, you talk about offensive linemen at any time, you got to mention something about their coach. Doug Marrone has done a great job with this offensive line, getting a guy like Brandon Moore, the young defensive lineman, converted into an offensive lineman, and that's what sets all this up. Chad Pennington has the time to drop that into the hole so that Justin McCarron can catch it, because that offensive line, especially inside, is so cohesive with Kendall, Mawai, and Moore.
Pennington has hit 7 different receivers today. He's got a first down at the Miami 38. Soul is on the move, as is Curtis Martin, brought down by Sammy Knight, who came piercing through with no gain on the play. Second down and 10. We told you earlier, 18 consecutive wins dating back to last year for the New England Patriots atop the East, and the Jets heading in that direction as well with the tie of New England atop the AFC Eastern Division.
It's way too early to start talking, about divisions as far as winning or where do you stand, but you sure want to keep a team like New England, keep sight of the jersey at least. Not within arm's length in some cases, but you got to keep sight of that jersey, not let them get away, and that's what the Jets are doing.
Another defensive back put in, busted play, second down 10. And Pennington throws to the feet of Fabini. He was held by Bowens and whipped to the ground.
He never got outside of that tight end box. The ball never got to the line of scrimmage, and it certainly wasn't close enough to the intended receiver, I don't think.
Intentional grounding, number 10 of the offense. At the spot of the foul, since it's more than 10 yards and the down counts. Third down.
Remember, the real reason, Kevin, it is intentional grounding at any time. I know Herman doesn't like that, but are you doing this to avoid a loss of yards and a sack? The ball is thrown right at the feet of Jason Fabini, the offensive tackle. Martin's right there behind him, but he's clearly just dumping that off, nowhere near the line of scrimmage, and somewhere in the general vicinity, but not enough of a general vicinity as far as Jerry Austin was concerned.
7 defensive backs. The Jets have got to get to the 28 of Miami. It is 3rd and 25. Moss, Crabette, and McCarrons are the receivers. Baker's a tight end at the bottom of your screen. Pennington. Here they come, and there he goes. And Curtis Martin tripped up by Reggie Howard, the ex-Carolina Panther, and down he goes, well shy of the first down, picking up 10. And they got a punt to the New York Jets, the 4th consecutive punt in this second half, which began with a bang for the Jets on a 66-yard interception return for a touchdown by Donnie Abraham.
And the Miami defense doing what they've done in this city for a long time. That's keeping hope alive.
Toby going to punt. Chris Welker at the 10. Yeah, that's been the recipe for the Dolphins for a long time.
Hopefully some of these defensive stars won't be retired before they get an offense again here.
This will sail into the end zone on a touchback. 6:31 to play in the game on a 43-yard punt. There's Pennington. Timeout. If Miami's ever going to do something, now's the time to do it.
Well, the Miami defense has held up their part of the bargain. They really, really have. They haven't gotten the points. They haven't outscored their offense, but they've kept that hope going. And what the Dolphins need offensively, easy to figure out. Got to get a touchdown somehow, some way to help out that tired Miami defense. Then you need a 2-point conversion, and only then can you get back to level ground.
So it's first down and 10 from the 20-yard line. And Fiedler will drop back to throw. Right to work, looking on the side, dropped by Gilmore. Coverage on the play by Terrell Buckley. Second down and 10.
And not to be a pessimist here, but if you're a Jet fan and you're looking at Miami's offense and you see the last 5 possessions, you go, well, we got a pretty good defense too. You know, they're not playing an empty chair, and the last 5 possessions has been just sort of a story of yuck. You got 2 interceptions, you got a fumble, you're giving up 1 on downs, and then you got a punt. You need the consistency offensively of some sort.
Buckley is in there again for Abraham. Second down and 10. Look out for This is John Abraham with the sack. The third one registered by the Jets defense today. And it's back to the 13-yard line. Second sack of the season.
Remember the hump move by Jason Taylor? Here's John Abraham just cutting the corner, staying low, and using speed. Damian McIntosh barely got his hands on John Abraham. That is strength, that is leverage, and that is burning it around the corner.
6 in the secondary. Not a lot from Randy McMichael in this second half for Miami from the 13. 3rd and 17. They got to get to the Miami 30-yard line. Fiedler. Here comes Abraham again. The pass outside caught by Leonard Henry and brought down by the rookie Derek Strait. Gain of 5, well shy of the first down. Another Miami Dolphin punt. Another good series for the Jet defense.
And so how invaluable is a weapon? We've seen Jason Taylor from Miami. Now Abraham again inside. Quick move. You've got the offensive tackle high, off balance, and guessing. For a defensive end with the skills of an Abraham, that is the perfect scenario.
We haven't seen a punt return in the NFL this season. Could it be now from Santana Moss? Returnable punt, 34-yard line. Dancing and Ian Badejo brings him down. Did I jinx him? I'm just reporting 35-yard line after a 47-yard Matt Turk punt. Timeout.
How do you feel about your financial future?
There's a look at John Abraham with a couple sacks today. He's played well. He's kind of that swing player, sometimes on the defensive line, sometimes as a linebacker.
Looks like an over, looks like an under. The old style with the defensive end down, but it's basically a 3-4 defense with a very versatile defensive end.
1st and 10, pitch out. Curtis Martin gets by Spinina. Runs into Chidi Ahanotu, and then is brought down by Seau. A gain of 12. He's out to the 46. Martin just passed. Well, let's get to this. Then we got a little bit of history to talk about.
Well, we talked about being able to run the ball. That's what that getting on the second level really is for the New York Jets. In Miami, you know, the defense has done everything I think they can. The offense has only managed 9 points. But, you know, you got to look at it the other way. The offense has also given up 7 points with that touchdown that was returned by Donnie Abraham for Herman Edwards' Jets.
1st and 10 from the 47-yard line. And Pennington out to Soule. He is grabbed by Seau. A gain on 1. All right, now let's go back to that last run by Curtis Martin, who's got 100 yards today. He just passed Thurman Thomas for 10th all-time rushing. He's got his 50th career 100-yard game. And it's the first time the Jets have run for 100 yards or more as a team on the Dolphins in 6 games.
And it's the first time in recent memory that Curtis Martin, Kevin, has started off a season running well, year in and year out. It seems he started so slow, and he and Herman Edwards made a concerted effort this preseason. More plays, more carries to get off to a fast start.
2nd down 9, and slashing his way for a first down to the 42-yard line. Curtis Martin for 10 yards. Let's go to New York in our studios and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Kevin, here's what's happening in San Diego. The Titans down a bunch, but not anymore. Billy Volek to Shad Meyer. 3-yard touchdown on a 1st and goal play with the extra point. Tennessee moves to within a touchdown. It's 24-17 Chargers, guys.
And that is interesting because Tennessee's been outscored by the opponents by 27 points in the 4th quarter. So it looks like they're trying to change that trend. To look at the numbers for Curtis Martin. 1st and 10. Miami's 42. Soule and Martin in the backfield. And Martin again. Brought down by Brian Robinson. Gain of 4 to the 38. Timeout taken by Miami.
And really, as far as Herman Edwards is concerned, he doesn't want to see Miami ever get the ball back, and he's perfectly happy just feeding Curtis Martin some more. Early on, that touchdown run, but he's driven and taken advantage, especially inside with Mawai, Kendall, and Moore inside some excellent holes. That's a day's work. That's a Priest Holmes kind of day's work.
So Martin is now well over 100 at 114. And let's talk about Miami's defense, which had taken such great pride in not allowing any 100-yard rushers, led by Zach Thomas. The third 100-yard rushing game given up by Miami's defense this year. None in the previous 20 games.
But they get worn down late. Teams get leads on Miami. This is not a big physical defense that's built to stand up, especially without Bowens and Chester inside, who are out with injuries, and they flat just wear out when people keep leaning on them.
Lamont Jordan is in, 38-yard line, 2nd down and 6. Fake the soul. Here's Pennington, and intercepted by Sammy Knight. Up and racing and down, and now they say it was an incomplete pass, that he trapped it. Incomplete. 3rd and 6.
Ball was just a little bit tipped there. But it looked like the ball hit the ground and bounced back into the hands. Remember, we're at 2:44. If Dave Wanstead wants to take another look at that, he can throw out that challenge flag.
He's got the flag in his hand. Dolphins have 2 timeouts remaining. We're not
Miami
inside.
has challenged the call on the field. This pass was incomplete.
Ball is intended for Beck, you got to think, and Sammy Knight takes advantage. As a matter of that hand, he's going to have to rule. Our referee will have to rule. Gerald will have to say, hey, did he get the right hand underneath the ball? Jerry Austin, you mentioned earlier, as a Super Bowl official, is that right hand under the ball, and how did it bounce? And once again, remember, it's got to be pretty conclusive to overrule a call on the field.
Let's see if it bounces around here.
See the right hand. Ball, where is it? That's tucked underneath his arm there.
I think his hand was underneath the ball when it hit the ground.
Well, it was definitely under the ball when it initially gets there. But does it roll out? Look right there. There's the ball right here on the left. Okay? Under his arm. Is the ball on the ground? Does he have possession? Because that ball right there, that part of the ball right in that area looks like it's on the ground.
After reviewing the play, the call on the field stands. The ball hits the ground. Pass is incomplete. Miami is charged with their 2nd timeout.
So incomplete. Dolphins have a timeout remaining. 2:44 to play in the 4th quarter. Folks, a reminder for those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS in the game between the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. This is Kevin Harlan along with Randy Cross. 17-9 Jets lead. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. It is 3rd and 6 from the 38. 3 receivers, including Crabette. And Seau initially hits Martin, slows him up, and then the avalanche of white jerseys on him. 42-yard line, taken down, loss of 4. And they got a punt.
He's 4 yards in the backfield. Miami only has 1 timeout here with the 2-minute stoppage. They functionally have 2.
So it is 4th down and 11 to go.
.232 is what Jerry Austin is telling the timekeeper. Move the clock back up because Dave Wanstead said I called that timeout earlier.
For the 2nd half, aside from the 66-yard interception touchdown return by Abraham, has been pretty difficult for the Jets. Upcoming is their 5th consecutive 2nd half punt.
Well, we're set up in another one of those positions, Kevin, where we're looking at a little pooch punt. Either that or a high hanger. It's the perfect time for what they used to call the old coffin corner. Get that thing inside the 5-yard line and rolling out of bounds.
3 touchbacks for Goen today. Jets have only had 80 yards of offense in the second half. Wes Welker back at the 10-yard line. And there's another touchback. Oh no! At the 1, what a kick!
Perfect. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Make it the 2-yard line, and a beauty, a 40-yard kick by Toby Goen.
Congratulations, Toby. I thought the art of the coffin corner was dead. It was all pooch and hope. Look at that thing. It hits on the 3-yard line and takes a dead left.
Remember, he had one from the 4-yard line in the first half. Mike Westhoff with a chat with his punter. So now stranded at his 2-yard line, Jay Fiedler. First down and 10 with 4, make it 3 receivers, including Darius Thompson. Outside for Leonard Henry. Knocked out of bounds by Ellis. Hit at the 9, gain of 7.
You know, the big play in this game, really twofold. The Curtis Martin touchdown early. But to me, the play of the game, spread formation, empty backfield. Rob Conrad, the fullback, out at wide receiver. And Donnie Abraham does a little poaching, sees some easy prey, and goes and gets himself 6.
Second down and 3 from the 9. Buckley still taking the place of Abraham. We have not gotten word from the Jets as to Abraham's problem. Nick Michael. And hit at the 18-yard line. Brought down by Straight, gain of 10. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. There's a look at Donnie Abraham.
Jonathan Vilma is the only linebacker on the field. It's all defensive backs.
2-minute warning with Miami down 17-9.
Here you go, Monica.
Thank you.
It's your move.
This is so fun. I've never really played this game.
Okay, I've got roughing the palate on Keith.
One is over here in South Florida.
It's been pretty much a 2-man passing attack for the Miami Dolphins. It's been Randy McMichael and Marty Booker.
It is 1st and 10 from the 19. And Fiedler throws, and it's caught by Booker, knocked out of bounds by Barrett. Gain of 5, 24-yard line. Let's go to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Kevin, show you what's happening out in San Diego. The Titans crept to within a touchdown, but watch Drew Brees. Look at the catch by Rashae Caldwell. He's off 58 yards and a touchdown with the extra point. San Diego's lead is 31-17 as they approach 4 minutes to play in San Diego. Kevin and Randy, back to you.
Thank you, Greg. Remember, the Chargers lost at home a couple weeks ago to the Jets, and Miami was the only victim of Tennessee in this season. Tennessee's got that one win against the Dolphins to open up the season. 2nd down and 5. Here they come at Fiedler, being bounced around like a pinball. Ball is loose and recovered by the Jets. That is the 4th Miami turnover today. Much like the 4 the Dolphins coughed up against the Pittsburgh Steelers last weekend.
Well, Fiedler's trying to get away from John Abraham, who's coming around the corner again. Vilma gets by him, and then Ferguson gets a hand on him, causes the fumble, and Abraham, whose momentum carried him all the way around, ends up with the fumble recovery. Watch the right there. I think Fiedler was actually trying to lateral that.
He might have been.
To an offensive lineman?
So 2 sacks for John Abraham today and a fumble recovery. Miami has no timeouts.
Wow.
Jets will take it the rest of the way and be tied, barring a turnover or anything unforeseen. Here in the final 1:47 of the game. They'll be tied for first place again with the New England Patriots at 3-0. The Jets coming off a bye. Now it'll be 2nd down and 11. We'll have the Buffalo game for you next week from the Meadowlands. Then San Francisco, and then look at that matchup at New England on the 24th of October.
And you see those records on the right-hand side? That's why coaches like Herm Edwards are big on cliches like 1 week at a time. Because you start looking ahead to people a week or two down the line, or you see how easy your schedule looks in week 4. That's how you get yourself knocked out for a couple weeks.
Dolphins had 3 red zone possessions. They only got 3 field goals. And one of the big plays, of course, the Donnie Abraham 66-yard interception return for a touchdown. Curtis Martin had a 1-yard touchdown run earlier in the game. Abraham had a couple of sacks. Curtis Martin, 24 carries, 110 yards, and Pennington, 14 of 24, 143, no touchdowns and 1 interception. And that will be the final play of the game. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Bill Parcells, Ben Cold Case in the CBS Sunday movie Suburban Madness. Miami goes to 0-4 for the first time since 1966. The Jets are undefeated and take on Buffalo next week. For Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan saying so long as we send you to New York and Greg Gumbel.